Welcome back to the Innovation at Work radio show. I'm Winston Edmondson, and today we're going to talk with some power couples, some entrepreneur power couples. These folks that impress me because they not only are running successful businesses, but they are teamed up with their spouse. Now, I'm just imagining if my wife and I started a business and we actually had to run it together, there's no way either the business would fail or the marriage would fail. I am impressed with anyone that is able to work on a day-to-day basis with their spouse. Tell me about some of the challenges on working with your spouse. I'm speaking right now with the founder of Lawn Jockey, Tanner Maxson, and his wife is on the line with us, Missy Maxson. And I'd love to hear about some of the things over the years that have been difficult when where it pertains to working with your spouse.
Well, some of the things that are difficult, of course, is space in particular, and my wife can attest that in our first, I guess, right at 5 years of being in business, she never saw the inside of her garage. That was my domain. So she's just now finally come to park in her own garage, just in time for that big snowstorm.
So, Missy, over the years, was that pretty frustrating, even though you were happy that your husband was out there making a living and making things work? The fact that he had kind of just taken over the garage, was that a little frustrating?
Well, yeah, because it wasn't necessarily just the garage. It's also the office, and then there's paperwork that found its way to the living room table, and the kitchen table, and it's just Lawn Jockey just took over our house. So it felt like, Lawn Jockey never shut off at the end of the day. It, came home with us, too. So
recently there's been an exciting milestone for Lawn Jockey where you got your garage back. Tell us about that and how that's worked out.
Well, we finally were able to open up a storefront/office space, and it's on Main Street, downtown Lewisville. What is it, Tanner? 424 East Main Street. And it has a little storefront out in the front of it so that we can display our Christmas stuff. We leave it up all year round now, but it's there as an advertisement for us. Everyone who drives by can see what we have to offer as far as Christmas stuff goes. And then it also serves a wonderful purpose as a place for Tanner to have all of his trucks and equipment and computers and all that. So I have my house back, and it's like a wonderful blessing.
Well, that is a great milestone, so congratulations on that.
Yeah.
And it's funny, a lot of the people that I'm from Lewisville, a lot of people that come on the show that have a store in Dallas or something, I'm always trying to encourage them to open up a second place in Lewisville, but I guess you guys are already there, so there's no need to coerce you. You guys are where you need to be, so I appreciate you doing business in Lewisville. Now, tell me a little bit about the business itself. Tell me, now, is this something where you can work with commercial clients
No, Lawn Jockey's strictly a residential lawn maintenance company. We do, we'll cut people's lawns, make sure everything's nice and tidy every week, and the hedge trimming, mulch, flowers, that sort of thing. But we just really want to maintain residential homes, and we do a great job of that. And we work out of Lewisville and Flower Mound, Highland Village area. And then now this year is our first year. We're going to be going down into Frisco.
Very cool. Now, a lot of folks that I've known in the industry do residential, but they also kind of covet some of those commercial clients. Any particular reason that you don't work with commercial clients?
Absolutely. Well, the biggest thing with me and Missy is we want to make sure everything with our like investments or the way we do things, it's kind of like a low security risk or something. So if you get those nice huge accounts with commercial, and they are nice to have, they anywhere from $1,000 a month to up some big commercial jobs. But what we found was that when you have a job like that, that's very important to you, and if you lose one, well, that could mean the difference of making a house payment or not. So what we're blessed to by our choice, we dropped our commercial accounts and we filled them up immediately with residential accounts. And so if we happen to lose one for whatever reason, it was a much smaller difference in our what we take home.
I like that. I think a lot of companies kind of have almost like a land grab. They'll just take any business they can get, and it's just like they really don't strategically plan. And I like that you really looked at the business and decided that it makes more sense to focus on those residential clients than to do anything with these commercial clients. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, when we first started out, we didn't say no to anything or any type of work. We took it all, and we found out that not all work was profitable work.
Tell me a little bit.
Now it's kind of more streamlined. I like it now.
Very cool. Tell me a little bit about the Christmas design, because at my house, my wife and I are always too busy, and our house is kind of the only house in the neighborhood that never has the Christmas lights. We just don't have time to devote. And we've always wondered about these companies that'll come in and design and help you take care of that. Now, how does that work, Missy? Do you actually design the color scheme and do it all, or how do you do that?
Well, Tanner's the one that basically works on the outside, and I work on the inside as far as, the greenery would go, garlands and wreaths and trees and what have you. So Tanner's the one that he basically, it depends on what the customer wants, but he's there to offer some ideas and things in case they just, don't know where to start. But most of that is just up to the customer. Yeah,
we'll do like exterior trees and the roof lines and stuff like that. All the exterior lights that you can hang up, that's my ball of wax. And then she takes herself and a couple gals, and she'll go in and do some really awesome interior decorating and get people ready for their clients or customers or family that coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds cool. Now tell me, how do you separate personal life from work? I know when I'm at home, I'm tempted to talk about what I've been doing on the radio. My wife wants to talk about what she's doing off in corporate America, and I'm kind of like, I'm not always that interested in what she has to say, and she's always not interested in what I have to say. Now, you guys work together at home. Are you always talking about work, or how do you separate it out?
Well, oftentimes we do talk about work just a little too much. But the good thing is, when you get your business out of your home, you tend to go home. You tend to leave that at work. So if any recommendation I can give to anybody out there is get your business out of your house.
Yeah.
Now, you guys can't tell me you never get in fights, because every couple gets in little lovers' quarrels. And does that affect work? When you guys are at home and you get in a little tiff and you're angry at each other for, a couple days, a week, at work, do you kind of just forget that at the workplace, or does that carry over and then kind of sometimes affect what you do at work?
I guess that'd be more for Tanner, since he's in the workforce technically.
I don't think whenever we have our lovers' quarrel or whatever you want to call it, I think we're still able to move on, because we have a great team. Everybody's got their roles, and we all know that if you play your role at work, everything takes care of itself. So, it's not that big of a deal.
Very cool.